In my studio and in my belief system, all children are ready for piano lessons, and there is no substitute for a great piano teacher. But if you're looking to boost your child's musical progress or give them a little head start if you can't actually start lessons yet, I've got some great ideas for you today. Now, little spoiler alert, there are no apps on this list. This is all about stuff that you, the parent, can do together with your child. Let's dive into these 22 ways, and remember, you can come back to this list at any time. Try out one of these things and your child will already feel the benefit, and try as many of them as you like to get more and more musical benefits and have some musical fun in your home. Number 1, have some dance parties. I recommend this to all my piano students, and it is honestly one of the best things you can do, and so good for all of you. Even if you don't consider yourself a good dancer or naturally musical or whatever, this is not about that. This is about people doing what they naturally do. Moving to music. You can be goofy, you can be awkward, it doesn't matter. You're at home, probably in your kitchen, also cooking dinner at the same time, and just dance, just boogie, just move to the music. If you get in the habit of doing this with your child regularly, oh my gosh, it makes such a difference to their progress in music lessons, because they already have experienced a lot of music through movement, they're developing their gross motor skills, moving to the music. And what you might not realize as a parent, and what we so realize as music teachers, is that the foundation of everything is the feeling of a steady beat. So if your child can develop this feeling, internalize this feeling of what it feels like to move to a steady beat, marching, dancing, all of these things contribute to that and help your child develop their sense of musicality and rhythm. Idea number 2 is to do some finger number chants together, or finger rhymes. So you can probably look up quite a few of these on YouTube. I have a whole playlist of them that we'll link to so that you can explore those if you want to use those. They're totally free on my channel, but these are just little rhymes that you do. You might know one or two from when you were a child, where you have to move your fingers in specific ways. If your child is going to play any music instrument, this is something they're going to need. They're going to need to have fine motor control of their fingers. And not to be down on the world, but more and more children are arriving, to me anyway, without a lot of the fine motor control that I would have seen at the same age 10 years ago. So the more you can get them involved with these things, using their actual hands and not on a screen, the better. And finger number chants are just a really fun little way to do that, and you can do them in like 30 seconds, most of them. You could build it into your daily routine in some way, like, after breakfast, or before we put on our shoes to go out the door, or before bedtime. Some part of your day where you just do a little finger number chant together and it becomes your little thing you do, and it could be a fun tradition. Idea number 3 is a variation on idea number 1, but that's how important this stuff is. It is marching to the beat. So you can either sing yourself or be listening to music and just march to the beat together with your child. You can march around the house. You can use this as a device to get them to do things. So we're going to march with whatever song is their favorite up to our room so that we can get dressed and go to school. We can use this stuff and this playful nature to get things done as well. But whatever the occasion is and wherever you're doing it, marching to the beat has enormous benefits, and it's something they'll likely do in their music lessons once they start too, because it's so important for young children to be able to feel the beat and to do that with their whole body before having to do it, in this narrow way where we're playing notes on a piano. Idea number 4, keeping it simple, sing anything together. Anything. Okay? I don't care what your favorite song is. I don't care what style of music you like. Just sing stuff together. Just sing. You don't have to be good at singing. You don't have to sing in front of anyone else except your child. But singing together has a powerful effect. And it's not about your child singing beautifully or perfectly. They might develop a great singing voice, but it's actually about tapping into our own internal musicality and the effect that has on your child. So if it's your favorite indie song, if it's a childhood song you knew growing up, or anything anything. Just sing it together. Number 5, we're going to the piano. So if you have one, experiment with the piano keys together. You don't have to know anything about the piano keys to get curious and ask questions. Go with your child to the piano, ask them, what do you think these keys sound like? Do you think the black ones sound different than the white ones? Do you think we can make a loud sound or a quiet sound? Anything else that occurs to you? I mean, they can be goofy questions. It doesn't matter. You're sparking your child's curiosity and letting them explore the keys as much as possible. Number 6, if you want to go further with this, you can learn the piano key names. You can definitely look these up online if you don't already know them and find a way to teach them to your child. This is something they can learn in piano lessons with their teacher, but if you want to give them a head start, there's no harm in that, or there's no harm in doing extra reinforcement outside of lessons. With adult students, this is something where we pretty much can just tell them and teach them a little bit and they know them. But with young kids, we actually do have to do a lot of reinforcement of this stuff. So if they can go through it at home as well, all the better. Number 7, read some books about music, musicians, and composers. I'll show you some of my favorites here, but you can explore yourself and see what's up at your local bookshop, see if they have anything in that genre. There's actually quite a lot of books out there that are so fun and can become one of your child's favorite books to read together, and simultaneously they're learning something about music, being inspired to learn more about music. Number 8, listen to different genres of music together. You may have your go-to with music, and I'm not telling you to listen to loads of music you hate, but could you listen to a little bit wider of a musical taste in order to explore it with your child? And try and do this with an open mind. So look up some playlists on Spotify or YouTube or whatever of maybe some genres that you don't know much about. Sure, show them and listen to your favorite songs, but also explore some others. Look up some classical music, look up some jazz music. Play different things, maybe one different thing every day, just chosen randomly, or you could pick a playlist or whatever, and listen together with your child. And then be the role model of asking some more curious questions. What did you think of that? If they say, I hated it, you say, yeah, I'm not sure I liked that one either. Or, I actually really liked it. Why didn't you like it? It's about digging deeper. It's not about saying, I like this music, I don't like that music. And sometimes your child will pick up on that and end up parroting it to us as piano teachers because they just take in their parents' taste sometimes without questioning it. But it's about questioning why you like what you like and keeping in mind, just like you might with food things, that tastes change. So just because you don't like the taste of a strawberry today doesn't mean you're never going to like the taste of a strawberry, because your taste buds are changing again. So you commit to trying a strawberry again at some point. We don't write things off. And we need to do the same thing with music. We might not like this particular classical piece, but there might be one out there that we do like, or we might actually like that piece in a few years. We don't know yet. So we try to just stay curious and really listen to music so that we can explore what it feels like to listen to different genres. Number 9, go to a live performance. Many concert halls and different venues will have performances that are specifically for kids. Now you will have some, actual kid bands, like your kid might like a certain YouTube performer or a certain kids songs band, and maybe they're playing locally, and that's great too. But you can also often find in many classical concert venues that they'll have a certain event that's for kids, and they're more welcoming of kids talking over the musician sometimes because they can't control themselves, or they might involve music and movement in that, or they'll have different events. So see what's on. Don't be afraid to go to the concert hall, even if you've never experienced classical music yourself. It's not intimidating. You're not going to clap at the wrong time. Just wait till other people clap around you. And if anyone is pretentious about it around you, well, that's their problem. That's not your problem. Number 10, build instrument awareness. I had a student many years ago. We still have her, but she's quite a lot older now. But when she first started at age 3, she could already tell me pretty much every instrument in the orchestra by sound. I'm not expecting you to get to that level with your child. She was an extreme case and she was just really interested in it, and so she naturally learned, what was a violin versus a cello, etc. You don't have to go that far, but just exploring different instruments and listening out for string instruments and wind instruments and exploring what they're called and what they look like can be so wonderful for your child and build a broader aural awareness for them so that they're aware of the different sounds, the different timbres that different instruments make. Number 11, back to the piano or any instrument you have on hand. Maybe you could work out a song together. And this is especially true, I think, that I want to encourage you if you don't have a musical background yourself. So, to give you a simple option, you could go to the piano and go to the 3 black keys. There's a group of 3 black keys, and figure out Hot Cross Buns or Mary Had a Little Lamb. Those would be your 2 easy options, okay, to keep it simple. See if you can figure it out together. Take it as a group project. That's why I say, especially if you've no musical background, because you can genuinely be in it with your child and be figuring it out together. Number 12. It's nothing to do with music, but everything to do with preparing for lessons. And that is, if possible, to encourage colouring. Kids who come to lessons who have a habit of colouring, colouring things in or drawing their own pictures, either one, have better dexterity. They just do, because they're using these things a lot. And that does give us a leg up for lessons. Now, if your child hates colouring, that's not a problem. I'm not saying they can't ever learn piano if they hate colouring. But if you can encourage colouring, especially colouring with pencils and crayons, absolutely do it, because it makes a bigger difference than you would think to a child's ability to use their individual fingers and therefore eventually play things on the piano. Number 13, create a music journal. So we mentioned different exploration options here. If you're doing all these different things, it might be fun to keep a little journal with your child. So pick a blank notebook and notate it in your own way, whatever you'd like to do or your child would like to do, and start writing down what we did in music today. You could even get like a day planner which has all the dates and try to do one musical thing every day. Each thing can be like 30 seconds to 3 minutes long, and you will still make such a difference in developing your child's musicality overall. And you could notate this journal in any way you wish. It could be notes, colours, drawings from your child, found objects like sticking in stickers, or get creative with it, but make it a group project that you do together to keep coming up with new ideas to explore music. Number 14, make a found object drum set. So you could use pots and pans or like plastic containers like Tupperware. You could use really anything you find that you're not precious about in your home and make a drum set together. Let things get a little bit noisy and a little bit messy. There's no harm in doing that once in a while. You could wear earplugs if you want to protect your ears. And just, enjoy exploring all the different sounds that you can make with objects that are already in your home. You don't need to buy a music instrument every time to do this. You can literally use anything to make percussion instruments and explore sounds together. Number 15, outside of the music realm, but again related, like the colouring, is to build body awareness somehow. Children have a leg up with music lessons if they already know their different body parts. And that takes a while for children to develop, and there's no rush. But if they're already doing things like yoga or different things where you move your body in a certain way, dance too, or even little songs. Like there's a little song in one of the piano method books that goes wrists, forearms, fingertips. So you can look up different songs like that, which name different body parts, and especially in the case of piano, the parts of the arm or the fingers, and get your child moving those different parts so that they're used to not what they're called, that's not really the important part, but isolating those movements, rolling their shoulders versus lifting their elbows. These things can be challenging for a child, and the more body awareness they have, the easier it's going to be for them to play with good technique in piano lessons. Number 16, you can do rhymes and tongue twisters. All of these things, as well as, exercising our mouth, they also build rhythm awareness. So if we're doing a tongue twister, we generally do it with a steady beat. And if we learn these goofy little tongue twisters, which are really fun for kids to do, they develop that sense of rhythm and beat, which is so crucial to music. Number 17, you can do clapping games. Remember these? Did you do them in the playground? I know I did. And all of these things build coordination. And again, they're chants. So they help us feel a steady beat and build that up. By the way, all this steady beat work has been proven to actually help kids to read in their native language. Read better. Read more quickly and more fluently, because they have this internal rhythm structure. Number 18, you could invest in a good instrument. Now, be careful. Don't buy what you think is a starter piano or a starter keyboard. Most of the time, these things are not even good enough to get started. So it's a case where buying cheaply means just buying it again and actually wasting your money, I'm afraid. You can ask your teacher about it if you're starting lessons and see what they think, and teachers will vary on what standard they require. But in general, it's better to wait and invest in a decent instrument. And I know it's tempting to not do that because you don't know if they're going to stick with it. But the likelihood is, if you don't do that, they won't stick with it. That's what I've seen in the majority of cases. Not every case. Of course, there are outliers. But in many cases, it's better to wait and invest in a good instrument. Not an amazing one. I'm not talking about spending $8,000. I'm talking about spending like 800 instead of 200 if we're buying new. So invest in a good instrument if you can. If you can't yet, or you don't want to yet, buy a different instrument instead. That would be my advice. So you could get something like small percussion instruments that are much more affordable. And it's my top recommendation if you have a young child and you want a first instrument that isn't getting a full piano, get them desk bells or hand bells. But desk bells are better. So they're these little bells and you can get a set of them that come in different colors and you push the top of the bell to make the sound. They're very accessible for young children because you don't need a lot of dexterity to play them, and you can play simple songs on them, and it can get them started with music without investing in an expensive piano if you're not ready to do that yet. Number 19, you can work on finding the opposites. So loud sounds and soft sounds, and identifying them as those things. High sounds and low sounds. Short sounds and long sounds. And for fun, you can also associate these with animals. It can be, what kind of a sound does a mouse make? Is it soft or loud? It's soft. Is it high or low? It's high. These are things that young kids often mix up and take a while to get used to how we talk about these things in music. So these oral opposites are a great place to work on things with your child. Number 20, invent your own songs. This could be at a piano or any other instrument or just your voices. Invent your own songs about things. If your child needs to remember something, invent a song together. If they need to work on a certain skill, invent a song about it. Make it fun, and extra points, you also are singing and learning about music and being creative with music. Number 21, play Copycat. So you can do this both ways. You sing or play something on the piano, something very short at first, and your child has to copy it back to you. And then the reverse. They make something up and you have to copy it back to them. A simple game, but so good for developing their ear and especially their oral memory. Finally, number 22, create a musical story together. Again, you can do this with your voice or on piano or on any other instrument. But you can just invent this story as you go, much like you might invent a bedtime story, except this time it has musical elements to it. So your child maybe comes up with who's going to be in the story, and they say it's their granddad. So granddad is walking into the room. How does granddad walk? What would that sound like on the piano? And then what's granddad going to do next? And you just invent a little story. It takes a couple of minutes, but again, it has that creative element, which is so fun. You're exploring sounds on the piano and getting more used to navigating it if you're using the piano. And most of all, you're just enjoying making music together. So there you have it. That's 22 different ideas. Which idea are you going to try today or this week? I would love to hear in the comments.